All right, everybody, welcome back to Fintech Fridays. And I'm still Brian Vieaux, President and Chief Operating Officer of FinLocker. Really excited today to have Scott Payne on as my guest. Scott and I got to know each other through social. Um, and after one conversation, I got a package in the mail with this awesome book, Rethink Everything, about social media, authored by Kyle Draper. Plugging Kyle, not because I have any personal relationship. This book is literally a game changer. And so, Scott, for you, thank you for thinking of me and sending this over. When we first engaged, Scott, you had your own business,
Mhm.
and you were kind of cranking through the life of an entrepreneur as a business owner, and something changed here recently, and I think this is a good time to talk about your new role and your new life at Shape Software. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you. Yep.
And second of all, if you wouldn't mind, just give us a little histogram of your background and kind of how you got to where you got, and then I want to go into all things Shape, because I'm just learning about Shape today, and I'm certain that my audience is going to be super interested in what y'all are doing.
Yeah. Well, so my history actually just hit 20 years in the industry, and I started my career as a loan officer for a company called Syntax Home Equity,
Yeah.
way back in the day, and it was a big, subprime company, but we had a couple of teams that were, call it prime, if you will. We had lending through leads. We were writing leads, data through or loans through DU, and had to actually, I think, save the company in my own kind of personal opinion as everything crashed down. We had these two branches that we could write loans through DU. But long story short, it was very competitive.
I was buying loans from you guys back then, by the
There
way.
you go. Yeah, there you go. So, we I had to learn very early on how to manage leads. That was the key thing out of the gate, straight out of college into a sales job. I noticed that their technology was good, but it didn't help me be better. It was really just a mechanism to distribute leads. And so I came up with my own little system. And fast forward 20 years, it's kind of been the thing that has stuck with me no matter what I've done, where I've gone. I was at Nation Star, so Syntax Home Equity, which changed Nation Star. Now it's called Mr. Cooper, but I was there for 10 years in 1 week to be exact. And my journey really took me from being on the phones to managing a team to spending time in my management training program with processing underwritings, get to see those full hats. Also spent time as a retail loan officer down in Austin, Texas. So I get to see that side of the world. And fast forward, I ended up going to work for Velocify for 4 years, where I was an account manager and business consultant, really helping our biggest clients at the time to get better with what they're doing. And then fast forward to I saw a need. There was a need out in the marketplace, which was administration of these systems, these sales systems. It wasn't just the lead management system, but now you're touching other systems, and to have someone that is kind of sees the big picture, who has lived the life of a salesperson, lived the life of a marketing person, understands where they're coming from, to come together and build a solution or build a package. And so I started SDP Solutions in 2019, really as a way to go be the administrator for 3 different mortgage companies at the time. And so started that, and before I knew it, I had 10 clients. Before I knew it, I had 20 clients. Before it was 30, and then I had team members. Before I knew it, I had 75 clients and 7 team members, and we're all administration and ongoing support and best practices for 75 top mortgage companies here in the U.S. And so yeah, I mean, that's been my story, and then it leads to where we're at today, which literally is two weeks old now. Is our partnership with Shape and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, so you and your team are part of Shape, right?
Yeah.
You're the chief product officer, um, and so I'm guessing a lot of my audience isn't really familiar with Shape. So who is Shape? Where and when did they start, and what are they working on that's helping their clients? And as important, maybe more important, I want to really get into your vision for the Shape experience going forward.
Yeah, so like I said, chief product officer, and that's something that I'm growing into. I've been helping with product design of Shape for about a year now, and that's kind of takes us back to the journey of where it all started. Was that the lead management and CRM is not just mortgage. There's almost every industry has this in some way, and I have relationships in education and insurance and solar and debt, all these places that need lead management, and I didn't have a tool that I could really work with and offer to them. And so I started on this journey to try to find, is there a system that I feel good enough about putting our name on, our SDP name on? And I came across Shape. And I tell the story, I've told it multiple times, that I was like, that did the first demo, and I'm like falling out of my chair, like one of those, just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, this exists. I've been asking for this for how many years, and this already exists, and it already exists now. And so if it already exists now, and we know kind of where we're going, whoa, now this could get really interesting. And so in January, we signed a partnership together where we could start helping them with professional services, and we could help our clients who are looking for, an updated solution, if you will, or, wanted to get on the cutting edge of some stuff. And so we started that in January. And, really, if I found I was spending almost all of my time with Shape and helping them, ideate on product stuff, also helping with implementations of best practices, and you name it. And really, every day that I spent in it, just kind of fell more in love with it.
Yeah.
So we decided to, pull the trigger. We knew that at some point that probably would happen, given where we were going and where they were going. And so really what it does is it just gives us the ability to tell a better story that is sometimes hard to tell as a third-party vendor, for someone to say, like, we implement here, but we're not them. I wanted to wear their shirt every day. Like literally, like, I'm so proud to wear that logo on because I know what it is. And so I'm just really excited. I think that for what it's going to provide companies out there that, what they don't have today is, again, being on the cutting edge of things. It's part lead management, but it's also part CRM.
Yeah.
I think there's a need of both. And sometimes where the CRM lacks is lead management, and where the lead management systems lack is CRM. And now we can tie them all together into one and give you, from all the way to the start of the process, a brand new customer that comes in, to where all the way through where they now are closed and they come back as another customer, or at any point can fall off and become nurtured in some really, really creative ways that I'm excited. I'm waking up every morning ready to go to work, and I don't want to leave work. It's a lot of fun being on the cutting edge of this stuff.
And so did Shape get its start in housing finance and mortgage? Has that been kind of its start, or no?
Yeah, so it actually started as it was on-site CRM was the name of the company. And what they did was they would go out to bigger companies who were looking to custom build their own solution. So rather than go get something off the shelf with a third party, they would just go and want to build something around their process. And that's what on-site CRM. And what they learned over the years was that, hey, we actually have a pretty good product. If you take the best of these things and you tie them all together into one, you got a really slick product that they really couldn't service at the time. Smaller mortgage broker shop or a retail branch or what have you, because of the way the process. So they kind of pulled that out. They created Shape, and got into mortgage right away. I think it was the natural fit for what they do. And now they're in many different industries. I was on a call today with an insurance agency and education call yesterday. So universities that are for profit buy leads, and you have to call them and do all the stuff that you do in mortgage. Yep. So it's fun.
So I mean, today it's you could argue that there's never been a more important time in the mortgage industry to be able to effectively and efficiently optimize leads that you have coming into your shop, however they're coming in, whether they're organic or acquired. It's never been more important to be able to engage with those. I think in our industry, we get sometimes, lulled to sleep when rates are on the plummet and business is just falling in our lap, and it's easy to take the eye off the ball. And I think by and large, the industry did that as it relates to specifically, lead management. So kind of tell us a little bit about, I understand your background. You've been a practitioner, at the street level, if you will, from a lead management perspective. What are the most important things that lenders of all sizes need to be thinking about as it relates to kind of how they interact with the leads that they acquire, however they acquire them?
I would say the one big thing that always comes to mind for me that I see people struggle with and really hold them back is when you have a sales team and a marketing team that aren't very closely aligned. And, you really need to be on the same page. And so one of the things that I did when I was at NationStar, my last 7 years at NationStar, I ran a sales marketing team where I was in charge of marketing would give me the leads. I would figure out who in sales got them. And when sales had an issue with those, they'd come to me, we'd vet them out. And then we'd go back to marketing with a logical explanation versus just, on the table, we're mad, we want better leads, really thought it out. And so we were in charge of lead distribution, lead analytics, and all of that. And I really see a lot of companies struggle with that today where they're not aligned. So we always called it like the marriage counselor. Got to make sure that there's a good, strong, healthy marriage, that you're doing the things that you would do in a marriage. You need to be respectful and nice and loving and care about and all of the stuff that makes a good, healthy marriage. And so we did a lot of that. I also see a lot of waste where we see a lot of loan officers, salespeople in general that give up too early, maybe, and they don't see it all the way through. Like, what I'm saying? So I'll tell a story. When I was at NationStar, I had a couple of salespeople who, no matter what, at the end of the day, they were not going to complete the task, meaning that we needed them to take an action on the record that says, this is what happened. And they didn't do it. And so I came up with the analogy one night. I said, you know what? I'm going to start calling you doctor, and then their last name, doctor this, doctor that. And what I was trying to get to resonate with them was, imagine your spouse, mother-in-law, or mother, father is sitting on the surgical table. And the doctor just says, you know what? I'm not going to finish the last couple stitches. I'm good. I'm gonna leave. How do you feel about that?
Right.
So in the same way, we have customers who need to get on the right nurture path. They need to be able to, go down a path. Maybe it's a good, hey, we're going to move forward path, or maybe it's a simply, I need some time. And we had people not finishing and following up completely to allow all of that automation that we had built to kick off simply by not following through. So that's one of my big missions with Shape is how do we, the times right now, you can't continue to do what you did in 2021. And many people have said it, it's going to take double the work to make the same amount of money. So if that's the case, how do we allow you to do double the work without feeling like you're doing double the work? And so that's where our automation comes in. We're on the cutting edge right now of a bunch of, call it AI, ChatGPT type stuff in the system that's going to really just help simplify. And my goal is to get salespeople, let them do what they're good at. I think that's what we've always desired, is let salespeople sell.
Yeah.
Let us help figure out the rest for them. And so we're on the cutting edge of stuff that is really going to blow some people away when they see it. And how we can help finish up, and we can help tie things together, and how we can maybe we transcribe the conversation and we can tell what happened, and we can automate based on what we told or what we heard on the call. Or, what if we are able to summarize for you every time you go in to work a lead, whether it's call or maybe even send a video versus the phone call? What if we could summarize their situation based on all the data we already know and summarize and give you 3 bullet points you could talk about and not have to think about what to do next? Simply just get on the phone, sell, record a video, sell, talk, whatever it is, and make it easy on them.
I know you're a big proponent of video, and I've been following you closely, on the socials, and I think when I think of video in the context of this conversation, which is, lead management, lead scoring, even, if you will. How do you think about, what do you think about the relation of personalized video when you're managing a data at scale? Can it work? Can that be effective?
Absolutely. I think what I always go back to is when I used to do a pitch, we go over the numbers and draw a line down the middle, and hey, is your spouse with you, and all of this stuff. People are busy. It's tough to get everyone on the same page to then do this. Other great tools, Mortgage Coach and other stuff out there that you could use and leverage. But at the end of the day, you need to become a celebrity within that organization, with that family organization.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm talking to the husband, and I'm going to hope that he explains everything correctly to the wife, mean, that's already problem number one. But number
Right.
two is I can record a video and I can explain it, I can send it. Now the wife watches it. Now the wife knows who I am and she can refer, and it builds that relationship internally so that down the road, a year, 2 years later, who are they going to think of? Because what I have done to incorporate video through not only the loan process, but then the nurture follow-up process after it's closed, and they see me on video, and then I'm connected to them on social media, and they see me continuing to update them. Who are they going to call?
Right.
Right. I mean, so many times I have friends that are loan officers. I'm like, I don't even think to call you because I don't see you unless
I don't see you anywhere.
Yeah, you're not doing anything. So, it's just, I think it's one of those things that it has the power that we just haven't quite realized yet. I think it all started for me during COVID timeframe because, I realized that like my grandma was able to get on a Zoom call really easy.
Yeah.
Third or fourth time. Like it was hard to explain the first time. Third or fourth time, she was good to go. And so what I started talking to my clients about was how do we leverage video in a consumer direct environment where you can leverage a video and do a follow-up call, or you could just do a pitch call live on the screen with someone face-to-face, even though you can't be face-to-face.
Yeah.
And so we started to experiment with that. And what I'm excited with Shape about is that it already has today an integration with BombBomb, already built into the system. Like literally, I just put in my credentials and it's integrated.
Right.
All of my BombBomb videos pull over. What we're going to be working on shortly is upgrading that integration to allow for much easier use, or maybe you do it within the system itself. All kinds of cool stuff that we're doing with that I think really is going to move the needle. Because half the battle is just wanting to like, okay, well, I got to hit record and do this, I got to get it just right. But if you're already in the tool and you're working your leads or you're following up with your customers, make it easy and put it right there in the system. And by the way, it's not just customers too. Like there's other people that you need to stay in close contact with and you need to stay top of mind with, and those are your referral partners.
Yeah.
And Shape has an amazing referral partner tool that every time I show it to people, they're blown away, just completely blown away. And really, take the same concepts you have with leads and prioritization. You also need to prioritize your referral partners, things like that. You need to, have the drip that's going out, stay top of mind, recording the videos, all of that as well. So, I'm just so excited to talk about it. I was on a call yesterday with a friend of mine who used to work on my team at NationStar back in the day. And and he follows me on social media, and he's seen over the last year all of my posts about Shape, and he's like, "Man, dude, like you must be like making a ton of money off this thing." I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm just passionate about this, and I want to provide this to our clients. Like, I really, really feel strongly about it. So we did a demo on Friday, and in the call he said, "I get it now. I get it. You are pumped up because of how awesome this is. It's not anything else. It's literally you just want to get this out to as many people as possible." And that's the case. It's just so much fun.
I love that. So we got a few minutes left. I want to get your thoughts on the social media, it broadly, right? But more specifically, how do you think about a loan? Let's just say I'm a loan officer and I've got, 5,000, 7,500 followers, whatever the number is on a couple platforms. How do I start to think about where and when to start plugging in my followers on social with my, with Shape as an example? Like, how does that all kind of mesh together? What does that start to look like over time?
I think it's a matter of, from an integration standpoint, Shape has the ability to integrate with multiple things. And one example I like to give, because I literally did this last week. I don't know if it looks like it's sleeping, Remarkable.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, this is a tool that I essentially can write on, and it's like a Etch-a-Sketch almost, kind of, but it feels like I'm writing. And I'm a note taker, and I set up an integration that essentially, and I did this literally in 10 minutes, where when I'm done with a meeting, I hit transcribe to text or create it to text, so it puts it into text now, and then I click a button to send an email, and that email goes to an email parser that is collecting the right data, because I put in the ID in the record itself, or in the subject line, and it goes and puts the notes in Shape. Because, by the way, we use Shape. Shape uses Shape.
Yeah.
Anybody out there that is not using their own system, that's a red flag. We use it all the time, and so we're on the cutting edge of new stuff and new ideas. But literally, I take notes, handwritten, click a button, click another button, and it's inside the record within Shape with all of my notes that I hand wrote.
Yeah.
It's typed out. And so from that standpoint, you want to make it easy. So if you have a conversation with someone, you want to make it easy to get that update pushed back into Shape so that you can prioritize and automate. There's a whole lead scoring component where we can look at different attributes. And one of the attributes could be something like someone just had a baby, or someone just had a graduating kid. And there would be a way essentially to get that into the system to then prioritize against everything else that you already know about the customer. Because if they just closed 3 months ago and they just had someone who graduated, probably not worth your time to reach out. Maybe you can reach out and say congratulations, but there's no business opportunity there.
Yeah.
But in 9 months, when it comes to that year mark, and we know that they just had someone graduate 9 months ago, now a little bit more. So leveraging the power of all the data you have, but also now tying in with social media. And, I would say too, it's not just that component. It's getting on video and recording to say congratulations.
Right.
Every birthday since I've read Kyle's book, every birthday, I've never just sent the happy birthday, whatever, through a text message. I turn on my camera, I record a personal video, and I send it to whose birthday it is. Do the same thing. You may not have their text number. Do it in their direct messages. Direct messages as well. It has impact all around.
Yeah, when you sent me the book, there was a little card in there with your QR code. And boom, I clicked the code, and there's a short video from Scott. It was cool. It was impactful.
I have, see if I can get it out here. I bought a printer, label printer. And so when I'm done with the video, I put it in a QR code, and then I print it, stick it on the card, and go from there. I'm working on something right now that's going to automate a lot of that for you anyway. You want to have maybe even use a printer, if you can imagine that. But essentially, that QR code is specific to that person. And guess what? I don't know if you know this or not, but I tracked you. I knew.
Of course you did. Yeah.
I knew you got it. Not only did I know it from the post office part, but I knew when you watched the video, how much of the video did you watch? And, me, a small business, I'm going to be able to figure that out. But think about that at scale for all of your customers. And now you know who's engaged with your content, with your emails, with your text messages. You're able to track and use that again in that lead score.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. My mind is racing because I'm thinking about my personal experience. Again, I go back to this book.
Yep.
You've been tagged in about 12 posts I've done over the last couple of weeks, right?
Yep.
Where I just took pictures of pages, posted them, had a few comments, tagged you, tagged Kyle. If I was a prospect of yours and you were including all those posts that I did and all those tags, and that became part of the scoring of my, my prospective, business relationship, that's immensely powerful.
Totally valuable. Yeah. And then, I think we'll see. And it's in the book, by the way, part of this, but I hope and I think that 3 years from now, when you see Kyle Draper, who's now speaking on the main stage at some big conference, you're going to think of me.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So tie all that back to just your mortgage customers that you have and your borrowers. How do you stay top of mind? It's things like that. So they always remember you and you're always at top of mind with them to come back to you later on.
Love it. Scott, it's been awesome spending some time with you. Congratulations again on the partnership and the path forward with Shape. I'm super excited. We share a mutual relationship that we're going to get to kind of nerd out on together, which is going to be fun. Can't wait for that.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming on. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Come back next Friday for our next episode. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.